Like it or not, it looks like Expanded in Pokemon TCG Live this year will only include Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet and Violet cards, but not Black and White or X and Y. You also can't play ranked or friend battles in Expanded, which means it's just casual. As a result, the odds of playing against someone with a Zacian Zamazenta starter deck are the exact same as facing someone with a true Expanded deck in this weird format we've been stuck in for the past year. I will mention that this list is purely subjective. I haven't had nearly enough time to test and Expanded on live. Finding a game takes upwards of 2 minutes, and when I say that every other game is against a starter deck, you can trust me on that one. Needless to say, Expanded isn't a fun format unless you can convince a lot of people to play at the same time with competitive decks, hoping you all queue up against each other. I'll also add my theory about Expanded that I've had for a few years. Let's say you look at any one of the supposed top 10 best decks in Expanded. That deck will have 3 auto wins against the other top 10 decks, 3 auto losses, and 3 50-50 matchups. There's no true number 1 deck in Expanded. There's just a variety of really good decks, and I'm highlighting what I truly believe will get you the most wins consistently. Alright, let's begin with what I believe is the best deck in Expanded, ADP Zacian. For a long time, ADP Zacian was the best deck in Standard. Arceus Dialga Palkia's GX attack allows you to take an extra prize card with every KO while also boosting the damage you deal by 30. And all this for just 1 metal and 1 water energy. So the plan is simple. You use Altered Creation turn 1, then if ADP survives, you use Ultimate Ray to deal 180 damage and accelerate 3 energy into play. Best case scenario, you use Ultimate Ray on a support Pokemon like Tapu Lele, Dedenne, Lumineon, or Crobat V, giving yourself 3 prizes in the process. Just like before, the best partner for ADP is still Zacian V. Not only does Zacian's ability have the chance to attach energy to itself, but it works with Metal Saucer. And after Altered Creation, Zacian is dealing 260 damage. You also run Aegislash V, as its attack goes through any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, just in case they run something like Miltank. Other options for ADP Zacian include Leon to boost the damage of Zacian V to 320 with a Choice Belt, Radiant Greninja to draw cards and be a spread attacker, Mawile GX to force Pokemon onto your opponent's bench, Sky Seal Stone to take an extra prize against a V-Star or VMAX with Zacian V, and Echoing Horn to bring back an easy to KO Pokemon from the discard pile. However you decide to play ADP Zacian, ultimately you just want the best cards to guarantee a turn 1 Altered Creation, then at least follow it up with a Zacian V or ADP attack the next turn. Do that and your chances of winning dramatically increase. My second choice is Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. In Expanded on PTCGL, this deck was extremely powerful. While it loses useful cards like Versus Seeker and Wobbuffet, the ability to attach a bunch of energy and limit your opponent's hand are still there. One great thing about Expanded is that you can use both a GX attack and a V-Star power. With Shadow Rider, you can attach Forest Sealstone to any of your V Pokemon, then use the V-Star power to get any one card from the deck. For the GX attack, you have 2 options, Gengar and Mimikyu or Trevenant and Dusknoir. For a single energy, Gengar and Mimikyu stops your opponent from playing any cards from their hand during their next turn. And if you use that GX attack with 2 energy attached, both players draw up to 7 cards in hand. This is useful because Gengar and Mimikyu does 50 damage for each trainer card in your opponent's hand. Trevenant and Dusknoir, meanwhile, has a less useful but still annoying GX attack. The base effect is that your opponent's active will be knocked out at the end of your opponent's next turn. But if it has 3 energy attached, not only will that Pokemon be KO'd next turn, you also discard all energy attached to their active. You'll either be using it in a key moment to win the game, or you'll use it out of desperation to not lose the game. There is no in-between. The main reason Trevenant is in the deck though is because of Night Watch. While 150 damage isn't a lot, the effect is amazing. 2 random cards from your opponent's hand are shuffled into their deck. This is huge because you also play Klefki and Alolan Muck. Klefki is used at the beginning of the game to turn off all basic Pokemon abilities, though it does have to be in the active. Then you put Alolan Muck into play, which does the same thing, except it can be on your bench. So while your opponent can't do anything, you're building up the energy on your side of the field with Shadow Rider. And if one of your big Pokemon takes the hit and survives, you bring it back into the hand with Acerola, then reattach any energy to it using Shadow Rider. I also lied. Tapu Lele has a GX attack for a single energy that heals all damage from 2 of your bench Pokemon. So technically there's 3 GX attacks in the deck. You just won't use Lele's all that often. Other options for Shadow Rider include Weakness Guard energy to remove the Darkness weakness from any of your Pokemon, more hand control cards like Judge and Roxanne to maximize the power of Night Watch, Big Charm to increase the HP of your tag teams, and Choice Belt or Choice Band or Defiance Band to boost the damage Trevenant does to 180, a great number in Expanded. We're also getting Charm of Courage in June with Paldea Evolved, which boosts the HP of any basic Pokemon it's attached to by 50, just be aware that it's useless on Shadow Rider VMAX. Focusing a deck on a 240 hit point 3-prizer isn't without risk, but I believe Pikarom is great and expanded right now. With the release of Miraidon EX and Electric Generator, the consistency of getting your basics and energy into play is insane right now. As you can tell from the list, this plays a lot of attackers, but the one you'll always try to hit with first is Pikachu and Zekrom. For 3 Lightning Energy, Full Blitz does 150 damage and allows you to put up to 3 Lightning Energy onto one of your Pokemon. Getting a turn 1 Full Blitz might seem tough, but between Tapu Koko, Electric Generator, Energy Switch, and Thunder Mountain, it'll happen more often than not. And to increase your chances of getting a KO with Full Blitz, the deck has 4 copies of Electro Power, which boosts the damage your Lightning Pokemon deal by 30, and it stacks. Then it's just a matter of deciding where the 3 energy goes. You could attach it to a Pikarom and go for a Tag Bolt, which does 200 damage and snipes 170, or you could power up any one of your other 6 attackers. Vikavolt V is good for slowing down your opponent, removing their ability to play items. Miraidon does 220 damage for 3 energy. Raichu V does 60 damage for each lightning energy you discard. And Marshadow GX can copy the attack of any basic Pokemon in your discard pile while also hitting for a fighting weakness. Then there's Boltund. The reason you play Boltund VMAX is because this deck only has basics. If your opponent has a way to punish basic heavy decks, you'll need to attack with Boltund VMAX. And the V itself is just another great way to accelerate energy into play. If you don't want to play Boltund VMAX though, the Electros from Unified Minds is a good replacement. Other options for Pikarom include Mewtwo and Mew GX to copy the attacks of any GX Pokemon on your side of the field or in your discard pile, Speed Lightning Energy so you can draw 2 cards, Guzma and Hala to get a Stadium Tool and Special Energy, Raichu and Alolan Raichu GX to offer up a big GX attack while also being able to paralyze with its regular attack, and Electromagnetic Radar, which can be used to discard energy from your hand while also getting any 2 Lightning-type GX Pokemon. This is also another deck that could have some use for Charm of Courage when it comes out in June, or I'm overthinking just how useful Pikarom is, and something like Boltund is actually the better option. Regardless, Lightning-type Pokemon have a ton of support right now, so load up your deck with whatever's best and start winning. One thing I need to mention is this fun new bug in Live, the invalid deck warning. We just had the first ever rotation on PTCGL and it didn't go smoothly to say the least. Somehow Expanded got hit in the process, creating this issue where you can't play a game even if your deck is completely legal for Expanded. The only way to fix this is by going back into your deck, switching the format to Standard, choosing a Standard deck as your active deck, then making that Expanded deck your active again. I've experienced this numerous times and not even restarting is a guarantee it's fixed. So essentially just keep changing your active deck and the format and it should resolve itself, or it won't. I've had numerous instances where I did everything and it still wouldn't work. I also found that rapidly clicking the badge to switch between Standard and Expanded Casual works sometimes. I don't know, none of it makes sense. But that's TCG Live in a nutshell. Anyways, if you're looking for ideas to build your own Expanded decks in Live, my advice is to go to Limitless and see the top decks from 2021. The Vivid Voltage meta included a lot of VMAX and Tag Team Pokemon, which are the perfect choices for this weird format we found ourselves in. Eternatus can still be good post-rotation, but you do have to watch out for Sudowoodo from Guardians Rising, which limits your opponent to 4 bench Pokemon. Eternatus doesn't really have a counter to that. Then again, Eternatus did do well in a world with Path to the Peak and Avery. Centistorch VMAX and Baby Blacephalon could be good options, as we have access to Welder, Fire Crystal, Fiery Flint, Volcanion, and Heat Factory again. Not to mention Magma Basin, which attaches fire energy from the discard pile. Lucario and Melmetal has always been a good card. Its GX attack reduces the damage your metal Pokemon take by 30 for the entire game. Find the right partner like Dialga V-Star or Cracourage VMAX, it's awesome. And thanks to cards like Penny and Super Scoop Up and Thornton, Lucario and Melmetal doesn't have to stay on the field. You can even include Metal Frying Pan and V-Guard Energy to boost the damage reduction to 90, while also using cards like Radiant Serena and Crystal Cave to heal off damage. I won't be talking about the possibilities with Rowlet and Alolan Exeggutor and Vileplume from Burning Shadows, because only degenerates would play a deck that destroys people using basic Pokemon. Same with Shocklock using Hisuian Zoroark. Only the worst types of people would play those. And let's not forget about Lugia V-Star. It has access to so much special energy and Expanded, it's crazy. The best ones we get from Sun and Moon are Weakness Guard Energy, Rainbow Energy, which is basically just Aurora Energy, Counter Energy, which provides 2 of every energy if you're behind on prizes, and it works on V and EX Pokemon, but not GX, and Double Colorless Energy, which is just double Turbo Energy, except there's no damage reduction. There's 100 different ways to play Lugia in Expanded. Just start with the base of a 4-3 Lugia and 3 Archeops, as well as a bunch of Quick Ball, Ultra Ball, and Evolution Incense, then experiment from there. I personally had some fun messing around with Pheromosa and Buzzwole in the deck, as it can potentially take 4 prize cards with Beast Game GX. Or there's Naganadel and Guzzlord, which just takes 2 prize cards for 3 energy. Basically, there's a lot of good decks in Expanded on Live right now, but I think ADP Zacian, Shadow Rider VMAX, and Peterum are the top 3. And you can find lists for all 3 in the description, as well as the link to Limitless. If you have your own ideas for what's worth playing in Expanded right now, or if you've got some crazy ideas I should test out on stream, let me know in the comments.